Hey guys, how's it going? It's Al. Week 11 Monday Night Showdown is here. It is Monday night. It is week 11. We've got the Kansas City Chiefs and the Los Angeles Chargers squaring off south of the border in Mexico City at Azteca. So we've got a really exciting game here. The game opened up at a total of 49 points for the over-under. It's risen to 53 now. Kansas City was favored by 3. This is a neutral site game, so obviously the Chargers don't get those 3.5 points for being the home team. It is up to Kansas City by 4.5. Looks like it's going to be a very close and competitive game. It's going to be up and down both ways. Both teams can do things and exploit weaknesses on the other team's defenses. I'm expecting a lot of scoring. Two teams that know each other very, very well. And with Patrick Mahomes back, the Chiefs offense is going to be operating like they always operate, pretty much on all cylinders, firing the ball all over the field. And the Chargers offense kind of getting back to what they do. They like to play a little bit slow. They like to take their time between plays. They want to pound the ball with MG3. They've gotten back to that 2 straight weeks with him getting 20 touches in those games. And the Kansas City Chiefs struggle at stopping opposing running backs, especially recently as we've seen teams just gash them on the ground. So a lot of interesting different lineup formations that we can go with. I would highly suggest that you take 20 to 30 minutes out of your day and go check out the playlist that I have. In that playlist, the How to Win on DraftKings playlist, I did a video with Drewby from Daily Roto, who is one of the best showdown players in the world. He does not play main slates for NFL anymore. He focuses on showdown. He's a showdown specialist. Dude has probably won between 8 and 10% of every single showdown slate. I don't mean one like he profited. I mean came in first on the showdown tournaments. He banked another 6-figure payout last week. We have a video with him talking about all of his things that he likes to do for showdown. There's going to be a link with a card for you to go click on that playlist, open it in another window. Make sure that you watch that before this game kicks off, because it's very important. I want you guys to be able to do as well as possible. That's why I do these videos. I don't want to give you picks. I want to give you a process to try and help you win. If you want to get along with that same process and have more help than just these videos, I suggest that you go check out the entire list of products that they have at dailyroto.com. You can use that promo code SMIZLIFE at checkout for 10% off of a new membership there. They have NBA, NFL, college football, as well as golf, as well as NHL, projections for every sport, and a great optimizer. We have other tutorial videos on this channel in that How to Win on DraftKings video playlist to help you learn and get acclimated to their system with all the great people that they have over there. So go check them out. At least give them a visit. There's a link down below in the description if you want to do that. Let's get right to the slate. So a couple people are priced up, as you can see, at the captain spot. Obviously Patrick Mahomes, the reigning MVP, although he probably won't be the MVP this year. Obviously it's hard to repeat it, something like that, especially when you miss a few games and there's other people that are performing at a really, really high level, like Lamar Jackson, some other players as well. Russ Wilson and CMC, whoever people are going to be voting for. I really don't care about MVP awards. It's a nice thing to banter about, but really I just care about the fantasy scores. So Patrick Mahomes, probably the most likely player in this game to have 28 or more fantasy points, right? Really high median projection for him, really high raw projection for him, because every week he is easily a candidate for multiple touchdowns, 300-yard bonus, and the most likely player in the league to throw for 3 or 4 touchdowns on any given day. And he has the ability to do it with his legs, although he does not have to rely on his legs. He's a mobile quarterback. He's not somebody who's a statue in the pocket. So ridiculous ceiling for him. 12K in the flex spot, 18K if you want to play him in captain. I don't know if that's the route that I want to go to put him in the captain spot this week, as I've spoken about at length. Quarterbacks don't typically end up as the winner of the showdown in captain spots. It does happen. Happens about 11% of the time. They typically end up being rostered at captain way more than their probability of being the winning captain, because of the fact that their median raw projection is higher than everybody. But the ceiling projections are usually higher for the position players. So if you were to make a Patrick Mahomes lineup, when I talk about this every single week, the correlation is key when it comes to your showdown lineups and how you approach it. And you have to approach it differently on a game-by-game basis, a slate-by-slate basis, because some of the games are different. Some of the games are more sluggo, bully ball, ground and pound. This game does not project to be something like that. It projects to be more touchdowns, obviously, with a total over 50 points. So we want to capture all the touchdowns. If I'm going to build a Patrick Mahomes group, if I want him to be the captain, I think that he's going to be the highest scoring guy on the slate to plug in there, especially with as much as we have to pay for him. I want to build 2 groups. The first group is going to be a group of all of his pass catchers. TYREEK Hill, KELCE, coming down. You could use Damian Williams in that group. He's got a questionable tag by him. That's because he missed for a family matter, and they didn't know if he was going to be able to make the trip. He's back. He's in Mexico City. He's playing. Ignore that questionable tag. He's going to play. Is involved in the passing game. I'm not going to include him in the group with Patrick Mahomes at quarterback, but I'm also not going to disallow him to be in any lineups that have Patrick Mahomes at captain. I will have some lineups with Williams at captain. I'm also going to have Sammy Watkins in that group, as he has performed really well in terms of having a high floor of targets this year. We saw him have one bust out game. It was week 1. He also had a lot of targets week 2. He just hasn't had any other touchdowns over the course of the season, but he's had enough volume to say that in an offense that scores as much as this offense scores, as much service as he's getting, he should be scoring more touchdowns than this. So I believe that touchdowns will be coming. He's going to regress towards the mean as far as our perspective, in a positive manner, because of how many catches, how many targets, and how many yards he's getting, but just not finding his way into the end zone on a team that does not struggle to score touchdowns. So I'm going to include Sammy Watkins in that group, as well as basically everybody else, right? We're going to include Mecole Hardman in that group only for Showdown, even though he does not see that many targets. But if he's going to get into a lineup, he's going to be in that group. Robinson's going to be in that group. And then I'm going to make sure that the lineup optimizer at Daily Roto includes at least 2 of these players on that list in every Mahomes lineup. I'm also going to build a secondary group, a bring back group with every single player. Oh yeah, I'll also include the kicker on Kansas City in that group, because the kicker is more correlated with the quarterback and people are willing to let on. I will also include a group with basically every Chargers player and make sure that at least one of them is in every lineup. So Keenan Allen, Melvin Gordon, Phillip Rivers, Henry, Eckler, basically everybody on that team, and make sure that every Patrick Mahomes at captain lineup has at least one of them. I'm going to do the same thing with Phillip Rivers in captain, and Phillip Rivers in captain actually projects as a much better play, because again, the mean projection is going to be higher. The median projection for him is going to be higher, and you don't have to pay as much to get him as somebody like Patrick Mahomes. Now, does he have the ceiling on a consistent basis, or the median projection on a consistent basis Patrick Mahomes has? No, but he's got an awful lot of targets that he could throw to. He does have multiple touchdown games this year, 3 in week 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. He has the ability to throw for 2, 3, 4 touchdowns in a game, especially one where he should have to keep his foot on the throttle as much as he should have to in this game. So if you're going to be using Phillip Rivers at captain, make sure that you do basically the same groups, at least 2 of his pass catchers and a bring back group. Now, Melvin Gordon III is really the interesting player to me on this slate from the Chargers perspective. With as much service as he's gotten the last 2 weeks, look, I don't even know how to put this without sounding like I'm against running backs, or I'm against, it's like there's a lot of debate on football Twitter. Do running backs matter? Do they not matter? It's not whether they matter or they don't. It's just that they're extremely replaceable. And we saw that with Austin Eckler. Austin Eckler is a better fantasy prospect for us to play in Melvin Gordon's absence than when Melvin Gordon is there, because of how much he is going to be used in the passing game, something that has kind of ebbed and flowed since Melvin Gordon's come back, right? We haven't seen consistent usage. Austin Eckler is back to being the exact same usage that Austin Eckler was last season, when he was getting 10, 11 touches a game whenever Melvin Gordon III was active, as opposed to what we had at the beginning of the year, which is less carries than somebody like Melvin Gordon can tote, but way more usage in the passing game. And on DraftKings with full PPR, this is the running back that I would love to roster against the Kansas City Chiefs, but we're just not going to get that chance. If you think that the game is going to blow out and Kansas City is going to take a massive lead, then having somebody like Eckler, who will come at a lower ownership percentage than somebody like Melvin Gordon III, does make sense from a projectable game script point of view, because of the fact that he is the better pass catcher of the two. Melvin Gordon, not a bad pass catcher, but he's nowhere near as good as Austin Eckler. But knowing how Kansas City gives up yards to opposing running backs, and knowing how Los Angeles loves to pound the rock with Melvin Gordon III, Melvin Gordon makes an awfully good play both at flex and at captain this week. I don't think that you really need to group him with somebody as long as you're playing him in captain. if you wanted to make groups based on, well, if Melvin Gordon III has a good game, what else is going to be having a good game? If he's having a good game, then Phillip Rivers is having a good game. If he's having a good game, then Kansas City's playing from behind. So possibly the passing attack or the pass catchers for Kansas City are having a good game. Therefore, the defense for Kansas City is not having a good game, and create your groups around Melvin Gordon III at captain that way. But we saw what Henry did to them, and we've seen what other running backs have done to this Chiefs defense. If we take a look at their game logs, rush yards against 225 against Tennessee, only 96 allowed to Minnesota, 118 to Green Bay, 192 to Houston, 180 on the ground against Indy, 186 against Detroit, 203 against Baltimore. That may be not fair because Baltimore they have 2 running backs on the field at all times, including Lamar Jackson in that, because of how much he runs. Projected 200 carries this year, over that for him with as many rushes as he's averaging. But it's not out of the realm of possibility to think that MG3 is going to have 100 yards, get that bonus, maybe have 2 to 3 catches and a touchdown in this really high scoring affair. And as bad as Kansas City is, so having him 1 as your captain, or 2 having a massive share of him, because he's going to be extremely highly owned based on the really low price and flex, with him at only 8,600, the 5th highest priced player on this slate. And then Williams at 7,400. There's a lot of different routes that you can go. One of my favorite captains is somebody who can break the slate and has done it multiple times in his career. Did it last week against Tennessee with 36 points, 29.5 points. The fact that Tyreek Hill has the ability on one play to turn a mediocre day, if he's got 6 fantasy points, he can turn that into 25 in just one play. There's not that many guys that can do that. Yes, every player in the league can catch a 60 or an 80-yard touchdown, but not everybody can do it with the frequency that Tyreek Hill does it. More often than any other player in the history of football does he have a 60-plus yard reception for a touchdown. Broke the single season record for that a couple years ago, and there was talk of regression because who can do that for a couple of seasons, and that was with Alex Smith, and they went to Patrick Mahomes. More of the same, and now more of the same in all the games that we've seen this year when Patrick Mahomes has been healthy. So Tyreek Hill, one of my favorite plays on this slate at captain, because of the fact that he is one player who out of the blue can have a 40-point fantasy day. Obviously, Travis KELCE is somebody who we feel is going to regress towards the mean, also in a positive manner, with as much service as he's gotten and as many touchdowns as he's had, or as many receptions as he's had, as many targets as he's had inside the red zone. Coming into last week's game, he had 13 targets inside the red zone for Kansas City and had 0 red zone touchdowns. That was unsustainable, and sure enough, he had a red zone touchdown last week. He had another touchdown called back. I'm expecting a lot more touchdowns, a little bit more consistently for the second half of the season for Travis KELCE, as his role is defined on this team, and it's not going to change. He's still going to get the same amount of end zone targets, still going to get the same amount of red zone looks that he gets, and he's been touchdown unlucky thus far this season. So with the prices that everybody's at, there's no clear-cut values on this slate. We talk about this every week as well with the defenses and the kickers. I'm probably going to limit to 1 defense in a lineup. Kickers may be a little bit more viable in Mexico City because of the altitude and the fact that they may be able to pound 50-yard field goals. That might be a reach. It's the narrative. Same situation as playing in Denver, where maybe they're just going to be more apt to try a long field goal. So kickers could theoretically be more viable in multiplicity in this game, especially with as much scoring as there is. If one kicker has 3 field goals and one of them's over 50, they become way more viable, even in the captain spot, to allow you to kind of jam in everybody, as we can kind of take a look at that real quick. If you put Butker in the captain spot for 6K, it gives you 8.8K to spend on the rest. And you just have a ton of money to basically spend on anything that you want. Boom, boom, bing, pow. You still got 8,400. So it's very easy to make lineups if you're willing to stick a kicker in the captain spot. Not something that I typically do, but in this situation, I may make a few lineups like that. I typically try to stick to the guys that have 30 to 40 point possibility, 25 to 40 point possibility within their range of outcomes, to really capture all the points that I can in captain. But stranger things can happen, and on a showdown slate, anything can happen because there's more variance in this game mode than any other game mode. So I suggest that you play it casually, and I suggest that you have some fun. Congratulations to you guys who won this weekend, and good luck to you for Monday Night Showdown, and I wish you the best of luck moving into week 12. Come join us on stream. I'm live 6 days a week on twitch.tv. There's going to be a link down below in the pinned comment section. And until that next video, I'll catch you guys later. Bye.
He's a legend.